Hi everybody, welcome to my latest video from a beautifully stunning night here in Central Portugal. It's about 5 p.m. and I've been working hard inside on the shower, but I have intermixed it with some time spent outside. In this video I'm going to give you a little quick tour around the garden because it's been a while, and then I try to solve some problems relating to tiles, and then I get thick into the work by the end of the video. You can possibly see my little workbench here. I've been doing a whole bunch of carpentry work on the bathroom counter, and right now I'm working on tiles. So there's a bit of talking early on in this video as I puzzle through some stuff, try to figure things out, but stick with it till the end because I do get a pretty decent amount of work done on the bathroom, including finally getting the bathroom counter cut and put into place. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again at the end of the video. Good morning everybody from a beautiful but very cold day. Winter is definitely fast approaching, and I have some unfinished business in my garden, but I'm going to get to the garden a little later on, including taking a look at the stuff I planted for the winter garden and seeing how well it's growing, or as I suspect, how badly it's not growing. Things are looking a little sketchy down there, and I'm going to take a closer look very soon. But right now, I have a problem to solve relating to tiny tiles. As you know, if you've been following along, I've been working on my shower, including using these really amazing tiles. They come stuck to a big sheet, and they've been fabulous to use. They're kind of all falling off of the sheet because I left them in the rain. But what I need to do now is find a way to chop these little tiny tiles into triangles. I basically just need to chop them in half, and I've tried to score them and snap them with pliers, but it's just not working for me. It doesn't score very well, and it doesn't snap at all. So I'm bringing out the big guns, and we're going to try to do this with the angle grinder. Using the grinder is definitely going to be overkill, and I'm not sure if it's going to work, but there's only one way to find out. So trying to hold this tiny tile while grinding it would be very unsafe and very unwise, so I'm going to see if I can stick it down with tape and then do it that way. I don't know if masking tape is my best choice, but let me just try it and we'll see how it goes. So if I can get this one done, then we'll move on to the next ones, because I probably need maybe about 6 triangles to finish off what I'm doing, and I'll show you that in a minute. Well, I don't think that was ideal, or was it? No, it's kind of smashed it to smithereens. Okay, I don't know what my next strategy is. Possibly just, that one's actually okay, maybe. Yeah, it's kind of burning the tile, so maybe if I flip it over and try it from the other side, that might work. Maybe if I'm a little less nervous about actually approaching this thing, I'm kind of going in a bit timidly, maybe that'll work. And if none of it works, I think what I'll end up doing is just going after the tiles with a hammer and seeing if some of them might break into pieces that I can use. Okay, round 2, and maybe I'll try to be a little bit more gentle. I don't think this is the best tape for the job, but I don't know, let's see. Maybe instead of trying to cut it in half, I'll actually sort of try to nibble at it from one end and see if I can, instead of getting 2 triangles out of each piece, just go for 1. All right, here we go. I think I had a bit of breakage. Okay, so I don't know, this might not work. The blade I'm using is for metal, and I know that ceramics blades exist out there in the world, but I don't know if they're so thin, so it might not work for me. But I don't know, maybe a hacksaw? Let's try that. Okay, so I've got a hammer, a very fierce looking hammer, and I've got a hacksaw. I don't think either of these things are gonna work, but I'm not exactly sure what else to try, so fingers crossed, one of them will get the job done. Okay, method one, the hammer, and this one is really just all about brute force and ignorance. Nope. Nope. I'm just kind of hoping for a lucky break. Nope. Now I'm just destroying tiles. All right, hammer did not work. Let's try the hacksaw. So I really felt like in my heart that this angle grinder was gonna work. So I kind of didn't think of any alternatives. Fortunately, I haven't actually looked online yet to see suggestions there. So I'm kind of just winging it and hoping for the best, but I don't think it's gonna work this time. But you never know. Maybe the hacksaw is gonna come through. It's hard to tell. This isn't the newest hacksaw blade. I should probably pick up a few more. Doesn't feel like it's really doing much. But then with hacksaws, often it's a slow grind to get through things. So maybe, even if I can't get all the way through, I can just do a little bit and then try to snap it. Yeah, after all that, I've just, oops. Dropping it also doesn't break it. So after all that, I've basically just made a very tiny scratch in it, so I don't think this is gonna work either. So, to the internet. So the internet has come through, but unfortunately I don't have what I need. A hacksaw will work, but I need a special type of blade that I don't have. And there are these little plier things. They kind of snip bits of the tile off, and I forgot that's what I used when I did parts of the shower. And unfortunately, I don't have those either. I just have regular pliers, these needle nose things that probably won't do anything, and then a vice grip to hold things down. And I have already tried scoring it with the Stanley knife and then trying to snap it with the pliers, and it didn't work. So I need to go to town anyway on Monday. I'll be looking for that larger piece for the bathroom counter. I'll add these tools to my list, and then hopefully I can get the job done all together tomorrow. So that's pretty frustrating, but as I said, it's Sunday, so I'm probably going to take it easy, meet up with some friends a little later, and I'll do a bit of sand sifting before I head out because I need to mix up some more plaster. But before I go, let's take a little wander around the garden. It's not looking as luscious and wonderful as I was hoping. Unfortunately, the lilies are going crazy as always. No flowers at the moment, but oh, there we are. There's a couple flowers in there, and this is probably going to explode really soon. Actually, it's been a pretty long time since I gave a tour of the garden, so let's just have a little look around. Got lemons on the way. It's hard to see them when they're green up there in the tree, but it looks like there's quite a few. Not as many as last year, but still a very, very fine haul. The cherry tree is looking a little crispy, as usual. This part is the only green part on this thing and has been for a while. And then I think I've got a couple of little butternut squash hiding in here. Yeah. So down here at the end, we've got, oh, actually it looks like they're kind of maybe rotting. Yeah, so they won't turn into butternut squashes, but I feel like I saw another one somewhere over here at the beginning of this long chain of stuff. Same here. So I don't know, they're kind of growing and then rotting, so I don't know what the deal is. Maybe too much water. Yeah, who knows. So it looks like there's one more here, and I guess I can monitor the situation there because the rest of them look pretty bad, which is kind of disappointing. What is this plant? Unknown. Might be a squash as well. Anyway, so that's kind of a bummer. So another thing I need to do in the garden is chop down all the chili plants to overwinter them, so I end up chopping them way back. I'll harvest all of the chilies, and I'm gonna string them up and try to dry some of them, and some of the other ones I might try to freeze. So these plants are looking pretty good. It's funny how some of them are very bright red and some are still green. The kiwi is popping back to life from the bottom of the plant. Comfrey is looking amazing. The lime tree up here is looking happy and healthy. It probably needs a prune. It doesn't have any limes that I can see except for some baby ones on the way. The lime tree on the bottom terrace is doing insanely well. And somebody mentioned in the comments madrono trees. It's also known as the strawberry tree. This is one of the very first things that I ever planted. But I feel like the birds get to the fruit more quickly than I can. So we've got a couple in there. And I've never given this thing a prune, and it's looking pretty scary and sort of taking over this part of the garden. So I'll cut it back a little bit, try to keep it more under control so I can actually use the garden bed underneath. Then over here, I believe I planted some stuff in here, but no signs of life from the winter garden items. The plum tree didn't give any plums this year. I gave it a pretty hard prune at the end of the last season, so I guess that makes sense, but it seems like it's going okay. In the past, it's had leaf curl really badly, and I don't see too many signs of that here, so that's good news. I have no idea what this thing is, but I definitely need to give this a prune. And my lavender has been sorely neglected, and it's looking kind of funky, so I'll try to chop that back and see what that does. I've got some goji berries, never been pruned. This bed in general definitely needs a lot of attention, so I'll be down there at some point soon. The kale's looking good, and then in here, really no sign of anything except for the garlic, and I think these are little carrots there. So the weeds seem to be beating the actual stuff I've planted, but you know, I don't know. I guess I'll just keep monitoring it. I have a tremoso or a lupin that's been munched over there. 2 more over here, and hasn't been very successful either. There's absolutely nothing happening in this bed, even though I did plant loads of stuff. So that's also disappointing. But one thing that's amazing is all these bird's eye chilies that are on their way. So I'm actually gonna freeze some of these, and then I'm gonna string some up and try to dry them, just like how I'm drying my poblano peppers over the fire. And then I'm gonna chop back all of my chili plants, and yeah, just let them go dormant over winter. I think this might be something, possibly a potato. I'll investigate that later. Blueberries, as usual, are looking really weird and crappy, but sometimes they surprise me. And then my grapefruit tree is looking extremely healthy. No signs of any grapefruits, but she's growing nicely, and I always love having a bed of comfrey at the base of all of my trees. I just think it's a nice way to keep the weeds down, and it pulls up nutrients. So I actually have all these pots. I've had these laid out here for a while with the intention of taking some raspberries. Oh, we still have a raspberry here. These just keep on giving, and I'm always very surprised. So that's looking pretty good. Very tasty. But I want to take out some of the shoots, put them in pots, and try to make more raspberry plants for a future berry garden. And then this is where the bulk of the peppers are. So I've got a lot of chopping down of the plants to do to overwinter them, and I just need to kind of investigate what's on the plants. So there's definitely some plants with some chilies hiding on them, so I'll clear them all out and then chop them all down to size. So that's my garden as of mid-November. The trees are doing okay, the chilies are looking great, garlic is looking good, but everything else is a horrible disappointment. I planted quite a few things and spent a bit of time on that, and nothing seems to be popping up, except... So check these guys out. I didn't notice those until right now, and if I could actually remember what they are, I'd plant some more because they're doing really well. I think it could be broad beans. So maybe I'll dig out some more seeds and try to get those in the ground in other parts of the garden, because it's always very sad to look at garden beds like this where you've put a bit of work in and nothing has happened, and always extremely encouraging to see life after some hard work. So this has been a very unsuccessful flurry of work. I basically learned what not to do with the tile, so that's kind of disappointing. And the garden looks kind of crappy, but there's also some good points in there too. So it's Sunday, as I mentioned, and I have plans to meet some friends for coffee. So goodbye from this super unproductive day. I'll see you again soon when I have the piece of wood I need to do the bathroom counter and the tools I need to do the tiles, and I'll be pushing on in a really big way in the bathroom. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my Sunday, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, I'm back at the Woodyard. I've got my templates, and Cesar has led me to this piece of wood here that I think should do the trick. It's nice and thick, nice and chunky. He's off to get the saw, and then I think he's gonna cut the curve for me as well. So it's nice when you can come to the Woodyard and then they do part of the woodwork for you. I'm back home. I've been to the Woodyard and I've got a suitable piece for the countertop. I think it's gonna look really cool. I've run some errands, got some groceries, and importantly, I've also bought a tool that I think will work for chopping the tiles. So, as you can see, the weather is overcast. It's a little bit sprinkly now. The rain's coming down. So instead of getting to work on the wood today, I'll save that for tomorrow, and I'm gonna do everything I need to do to prepare for a big day of work. Then when the weather's gonna be nicer. And right now, let's go inside, put the fire on, and see if this thing is gonna work. So the fire's on. I've got a cup of coffee here, some tiles, the tiles tool. And before I get into trying to nibble away at those to make triangles, I just wanted to point out I've got 20 liters of olive oil here, and we ended up with, I think, 140 total. So 70 for Sinead and I, and 70 for Bex and Elle. And we can give some to Sancha and some friends. And yeah, it was a really good haul. And then here, Sinead has ordered a shower. So we're gonna get back to work hopefully on her shower and bathroom soon. Try to finish that off, put some walls on. And I'm gonna give her a hand on that. But first, let's see if this is gonna work. And now, I guess, we just nibble away and hopefully it doesn't completely disintegrate. I don't really have anything suitable for scoring it. The Stanley knife wasn't working so well. But I feel like if I go slowly, this could be crazy enough to work. So that's annoying. I sort of snapped off the end of the tile, but I feel like I can get this to work, so let me just try another one. So that seems pretty good. It's not perfect, but I wonder if I can put it on a sander and maybe straighten everything out. But it's a good start, and I definitely think this tool is much better than the angle grinder, and it's much better than the hammer, that's for sure. I feel like maybe the hacksaw with a proper blade would have worked, but they didn't have that in the shop. So this one looks to have been a success. This one, sort of a success. Maybe I can salvage that, we'll see. And I've got several more to get to, so I want to make about 6, maybe 8 triangles, and I'll do it off camera while I enjoy my coffee, and see you very soon. Coffee's gone, the fire is still roaring, it's still miserable outside, and the tiles are cut. I think for the design I'm going for, I only need 4, so I've managed to get 5 pretty decent ones. And now let's get prepared for tomorrow so that I can just dive straight into the work right in the morning. Got a lot of stuff to clean up. Let's do it this way. Okay, it's much tidier. I've got space to work. This thing is coming out and it will be replaced with some nicer counters. And the reason I have to get all the wood in before I do the plastering is because I want to make a nice edge against the wood that goes in, and I want this last layer to be my final plaster. So waiting and doing it all together means I won't end up with a little ridge like that where it's a little bit different. So that's my perfectionist tendencies coming into play, and hopefully it's all gonna look really good. And I also today want to make a little bit more lime. I'm all out, so let's do that the fast way as well. It's gonna involve braving the elements because it's pretty rainy out there. I'm back, and as you can see, there's a bucket in the lime. There's lime underneath there, and I basically just thought I would chime in because I accidentally dropped the bucket into the bigger bucket, and I fired a whole bunch of lime all over my house. So I've got some tidying up to do, and I'm just going to put the camera away until tomorrow because I'm tired and it's getting dark. So it's pretty ridiculous in there right now. I still have to finish doing the lime, which will take a little while, tidy up my place. And I just wanted to first show you how beautiful it is out here. The rain has mostly stopped and the sky is just looking really lovely, and I just love the light at this time of the day. So I have been doing a lot of talking so far in this video, and I know a lot of you out there don't like it when I ramble on, but sometimes I just feel the need to. So from tomorrow, I'm just gonna get right into the work. We're gonna do bathroom counter stuff, hopefully some tile stuff, and hopefully a final plaster in the coming 2 days. And I'm just gonna put my head down and power on with the work. So there'll be a lot less talking from tomorrow, and I'll see you guys then. Hello from a brand new day. The lime plaster is made and ready to go. But before I can get to that, I have some woodworking to do. So I've got a nice big chunky bit of wood for the top counter in the bathroom. I have a slightly thinner bit of wood for the shelf underneath. I have this bit of wood with a live edge for a sort of backsplash. And I have a lot of work to do to get them cut to size and prepared. So let's go. So I'm definitely doing the measure twice, cut once rule. I'm probably doing measure 5 million times, cut once, because I really don't want to screw this piece of wood up, because if I do, I'll have to go get another one. So I'm trying to be really careful, and I hope I've got all these measurements correct. So this piece needs a little bit more refinement. I need to cut down the width so it fits in better, and I need to do a few little finicky things around where the piping is going to go. But you see me doing some cuts, and I'm not very good at working and thinking and filming all at the same time, so I'm going to do more difficult stuff off camera. But I do have this lovely piece of wood. It's got a live edge, it's got a nice knot on it, and I thought before I call it quits on filming for the day, we could sand it up and see what it looks like, because I think it's going to be very nice. So I think this is looking pretty good. You can probably see unsanded side over here. The sanded side is looking nice. I need to get some finer grit on it, and by the time everything is said and done, I should have some very smooth pieces to use for the counter and for the backsplash. So I have a lot of work still to do. There's all kinds of small little finicky bits that I need to get done before this whole thing is going to fit together. So I have some lofty goals preparing this piece underneath, and refining this piece before tomorrow. And as you can see, the sun is starting to go down. It's about 4 p.m. So I've got a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. I'll see you guys again tomorrow for some more work in the bathroom. Good morning, guys. It's another beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky, and I've got everything set up to do a little bit more carpentry work outside. I was actually outside until the sun started to go down. It wasn't too late, maybe about 5:15 or so is when things start to get dark. But I have a lot of sanding to do, and so I was pushing on with that. And then this morning I got up and I did a little bit of sawing, cutting the counterpiece down to size. Before I continue work on the top counter, I have a fairly unusual cut to make, actually a few of them. And I was going to use the jigsaw because I want to basically cut out the same curve as the front of the counter and the shelf, so just following the line along. But I can't stand my jigsaw. I find that the blade always bends back and forth, and it's important that I get this cut flush. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to bust out the router. So in theory, I should be able to clamp a bunch of things down, set everything up so that I can run the router along the face of this curve, cutting the same curve into the piece below. It's going to be a lot more accurate than the jigsaw if I can get it done properly. And it also gives me a chance to practice on the router, which is a tool that I think is very useful, but one that I don't use very often, and one that I'd love to get more experience with. So the stuff is all clamped down, and I'm basically just going to be trying to follow this curve. So let's see if I can get this done. Okay, I think that's a pretty good start. That stuff's pretty stuck in there. So my idea was to do the cut partway with the router, and I'll finish it off with the jigsaw. I find that when I use the jigsaw, the blade on thicker pieces of wood, it wants to move around, and it means that the cut ends up being really jaggy and kind of horrible. So I've started it with the router, and I'll finish it off with the jigsaw, and I think that's going to be a pretty good compromise. But before I get to the jigsaw, I have 3 more of the exact same cuts to make with the router, and these pieces that I'm making now are for an idea that I have with how to finish off the bathroom counter. So here we are with 1 cut from the router, and I'll check in again when I have 3 more ready to go. the counter is in. It still needs some refinement. I've got to make everything fit properly in the top and the bottom. But for the most part, this is how it's going to look. It's levelish that way. It's pretty level this way, so I'm happy with it. I love the chunkiness of it. And I think it's going to look really, really cool once the tiles are in. So that's my next step. I've got a bit more prep to do still, and you'll see me again when we're ready to finally finish off this side of the wall. Okay, everyone, I'm back. The sun is going down out there, but it's still quite a beautiful evening. And though I'm going to get back to work on the tiles, I'm not going to be able to finish this entire plastering job tonight. It's getting late, and I'm getting tired, and I still have a lot of refinement to do on this counter. I've managed to get everything to sit where I want it to sit. The bottom one still needs some refinement, and I've completely changed my mind on the backsplash. This is what I originally had. It's got a nice knot in it, which I was hoping to feature, but it's not the right type of wood. I'm pretty sure this is pine, and you can probably see quite a difference in the color. This one's sort of an orangey color, and that's quite yellowy, kind of a pale color, so it's going to stain up completely different once I put the linseed oil on. So I'm not going to go with this piece, even though it is kind of beautiful. I could take another trip to the Woodyard, but I've already been to see Cesar twice in the past few days, and I think he's probably sick of me by now. Plus, I'm going to be bothering him again very soon for the wood that I need to do my tool shed, so I'll give him a break, and I'm going to try to get this done with wood I already have here. So that means I dug up this piece of wood. It's been sitting around my place for a while. It's nice and chunky. It's a lot thicker than the other one, which I like. The live edge isn't quite as sexy, and it doesn't have any cool looking knots on it to highlight, but I do like the grain going that way, and the color is going to match perfectly with the color of the counter as well, which is the most important thing. But I'm going to get to this later on. I still have lots to do with the woodwork. Right now, I promised you guys some tiles on the wall, so we're going to stick some tiles on the wall. My idea for these little sections above where the wood sticks out for the shelf, is to just add some tiles going up over here, and then on this one below as well. So I have the tiles I need. I managed to sand the triangles a little better so they're not quite as rough using the orbital sander. So I need to clear away this wood in order to make space to do the work, and then we're going to get some tiles on the wall. Okay, I'm back. The fire is on. The place is getting nice and cozy. I've tidied stuff up in here. I'm prepared to go. The sun is going down out there, and I'm determined to get a row of tiles on camera for you guys before the end of this video. Okay, this is where I got to. I think the tiles are gonna look really cool when everything is all plastered. They're gonna tie in really nicely, I think, to the tiles in here and the tiles that are obviously on the floor. And I have a lot more plastering to do in this area just to get ready for the counters. So I'll do that off camera, I think. And I've still got a lot of work ahead of me as the sun is starting to go down. Okay, I'm gonna wrap the video up there. I feel like I've done quite a lot in these past couple of days. And even though I didn't get the counter into place, I know the measurements, everything's cut to size, and the hard parts are done. And it's just a matter of sanding everything up really nicely, finding some trim, doing some staining, and then plastering around it. So I'll get to that hopefully tomorrow. So it's been a lot of work. I'm happy with the results. The bathroom is continuing to surprise me as I keep working on it. I keep getting ideas, and I'm really, really enjoying the process. But I'm very much looking forward to having this part done as well. So thanks for watching, as always. If you have any questions at all, if you just want to say hello, please do leave me a comment below. I love getting comments, and I always reply to every one of them. So it's an easy way to say hi, and I'm always looking for suggestions, comments, advice. I take it all on board, and I love hearing from people. So that's enough for me. It's been a long video. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, as always, and I'll see you again in the next video.